Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the devotees assembled on the call. This is Harita from Houston, Texas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Harita Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga, and all glories to Sri Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining, and very beautifully you recited chapter 1 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, I'll start the recording since Prabhu is there.
Oh. 1 second, Mataji. Okay, before we start our session, I would like to read the Srila Prabhupada quote for today's August 31st. Best thing is if you chant Hare Krishna and go to Krishna Loka and find out the answers to all these questions yourself. Later to Ekayani, August 31st, 1971. So today we are so fortunate to have His Grace Sri Haridas Varya Prabhuji on the topic of Koti, Kandarpa, Lavanya, Balarama. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandvat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Sri Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for giving your very, very valuable time and association to us this morning and enlightening us and telling about the glory of the Sri Balaram. So I now hand over call to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu vayevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. First and foremost, most respected and elderly Yashamati Mataji, my Dandavat pranams to you. Thank you for always hosting the Bhakti Sangha Japa group in a very motherly and very wonderful way. Thank you very much, Mataji, for the warm welcome. Secondly, I would like to pay my humble obeisances unto all the assembled devotees today. And especially, I'm very excited and very happy to be here spending the next 45-50 minutes speaking about our beloved Lord Balaram, amongst all the devotees who have been for the last many days hearing from the best of the speakers about Lord Balaram. So sometimes it becomes a very, very difficult task when the best erudite scholars speak about the most favorite topic. The person who comes at the last finds it very difficult to match up to the standard because the standard has been raised so high. But nevertheless, they say that Hari Anant, Hari Katha Anant. They say that the Lord's pastimes and the Lord's divine qualities are both innumerable, infinite. So I will try to do a childish prank of trying to glorify Adi Guru, the most beautiful, Koti Kandarpa Lavanya, one who beats the effulgence and radiance of Koti Kandarpas, more than crores and crores of cupids, none other than Lord Balaram. But again, I would like to first thank Her Grace Preeti Vilasini Mataji, who gave me this opportunity today to speak on this auspicious day, which I grabbed it with both hands the minute she said, can you speak some time on the Bhakti Sangha Japa group? I said, what glorious service opportunity than speaking about Lord Balaram on his appearance day. So thank you, Mataji, for goading me towards this service and always asking for this service. So before I start, it is only appropriate that I would like to seek the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, senior devotees, and our Acharyas and my beloved spiritual master, and also Srila Prabhupada, who is the ambassador for the spiritual world. We would like to take their blessings so that the words which are coming from my mouth are pleasing to the heart of the devotees in relishing this festival even better. With that, we will start with Mangalacharan. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Abhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Namaste Haladragrama Namaste Musalayuda Namaste Revati Kanta Namaste Bhaktavatsala Namaste Balinam Shrestha Namaste Dharanidhara Pralambare Namastestu Trahimam Krishna Purvaja Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubheva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jai Srila Prabhupada Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim YatkripatamahamVande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. So my dear devotees, at the outset, wish you all a very, very happy Balaram Purnima. This festival is very integral to all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, specifically those devotees in the Gaudiya Parampara who are always wishing for Braja Bhakti. It is very important that we worship Lord Balaram today on Balaram Purnima. As I said, many speakers have spoken so wonderfully, so esoterically from our scriptures. What I would like to do is just pick some of the points spoken by all speakers. Because with my limited intelligence, I think some of the best points that has been spoken by many speakers before, visiting them, meditating on them, and taking learnings from them can be one of the best ways of welcoming Balaram in our heart. So, before we start to talk about Balaram's appearance day, it is very important to understand the context of this festival. For that, we have to transport ourselves to Vrindavan. Vrindavan, a place which is beyond our imagination. It is so beautiful. It is so resplendent. It is spiritual. It is not like the other Vaikuntha planets. It is not like Dwaraka. It is not like Ayodhya. It is not like Mathura. It is Vrindavan. Why Vrindavan is so special? Vrindavan is special because that is where Krishna and Balaram eternally reside. They never take a step outside of Vrindavan. Ekam padam nagachati. They never take one step also outside Vrindavan. So it becomes very important for us to understand what is happening in this Vrindavan. So during the summer season, when everything is arid and dry, when the leaves are dry, when the atmosphere is dry, and there is summer scorching heat, and Srimati Radharani and others are in their in-laws' houses, and they're waiting for the time their brothers will come and pick them up back home, to take them back home. In the Vedic culture, out of the 12 months, 1 month of the Shravan was earmarked or was kept separate, where the brothers could come and take their sisters back to their maternal house. So it was a joyous occasion at this point of time for all the women. The married women can go to their mother's house, and they will be eagerly waiting for the brothers to come and pick them up. So Tungavidya, Sudevi, Rangadevi, Chitra, Champakalata, Lalita, Vishakha, all of them in their respective villages, they were waiting for their brothers to come and take them. And Srimati Radharani was also waiting. But the time was passing by. The brother of Srimati Radharani, Sridham, he never arrived. And Srimati Radharani was feeling very aggrieved. She was feeling very sad that why Sridham is not coming and taking me. And after some days, she was watching all her Sakhis going one by one to their maternal home. But she was there with Jatila, Kutila, and Abhimanyu in Yavat. One day, Sridham came with lot of cows and lot of gifts and approached Jatila and said, I have come here to take my sister, Srimati Radhika, back to Barsana. And Jatila, looking at the gifts, she was so happy. Initially, she was shaking her head and she was saying, who will wash the vessels? Who will do the daily chores of this house in Yavat? I cannot send Srimati Radhika. But when he showed the wonderful gifts, cows, and a lot of opulence, Jatila said, okay, fine. Take Srimati Radhika for 14, 15 days. So Srimati Radhika, she happily jumped onto the bullock cart and she came all the way to Barsana. But during this time, she was very much aggrieved and she was feeling the separation from Krishna. And this heat was adding to the heat of the summer. And it is said by our acharyas that every time Srimati Radharani would cry in separation, a whole lake would be formed. But it will immediately get evaporated because that was the heat of separation from Krishna. At this point of time, even the clouds were filling up with tears of Srimati Radhika because the lake was sending streams of this water into the clouds. And looking at the separation of Krishna and Srimati Radhika, the clouds also could not hold back their emotions, and they just cracked open and they showered whole waters. And in between the summer season started the rainy season. And in that rainy season is when Srimati Radhika reaches back to Barsana and the Vrajvasis are feeling a moment of joy. So it is not that the seasons are changing. There was summer season first and then it came as rainy season. It's due to these emotions of separation and union between the divine couple that the seasons also change. And hence the Jhulan festival starts. The Julan festival starts because when the rain starts to pour, all the arid and dry climate changes, humidity increases, there is moisture in the air, and hence all the lovely little leaves started sprouting out of their stems and branches, and flower buds, they start to bloom, and vines and creepers, they start to embrace the kadamba trees. The banyan trees start to have large petals of flowers as well as leaves, and the branches are swaying in the moisture laden wind, and the rainy season has onsetted, has arrived. So at this point of time, the Julan Yatra begins. So all the Vrajvasis, the context in Vrindavan is they are happy that Srimati Radhika, the queen of Vrindavan, she's back home. And so they are very happy. And this Julan Yatra continues till today, Balram Purnima. So today is the day when the Julan Yatra is supposed to be complete and Srimati Radhika is supposed to go back to her place. So while this mood is prevalent, the Brajvasis become sad again because their queen has to go back to Yavat. But in Vrindavan, this is the common pattern, that there is waves and waves of emotion, of separation and union between the divine couple. The beautiful pastimes of Julan Yatra is a narration for another day. But we are standing at the culmination day of the Julan Yatra, when the full moon has arisen and the Purnima is here, which is the day today. So the Brajvasis are extremely happy for two reasons, while they are sad at the same point of time that Srimati Radhika is going to go away. They are also happy that the full moon is here. And they see the full moon as the Purna Chandra Krishna. And at the same time, Balram's appearance day is today. So the mood in Vrindavan is a simultaneous occasion of a bit of sadness, but it is overpowered by two reasons of joy, which is Purnima and that also Balaram Purnima. Balaram, the elder brother of Krishna, appeared today. Namaste Haladgrad Grama, Namaste Musalayudha. Namaste, I pay my humble obeisances. To whom? Hala. Hala means the plow. One who is holding the plow. Who is that? It's Balaram. Namaste Musalayudha. And at the same time, he is an expert wielder of the mace. Namaste Revati Kanta. You're the darling of Revati, his wife. Namaste Bhakta Vatsala. And you're very, very kind benefactor to your devotees. Namaste Balinam Shrestha. Amongst the strong people, you're the strongest. Balinam. Rama Rama Mahabhaho. You have great hands, you have great strength. That's why you were named as Balarama. Namaste Balinam Shrestha. You're not ordinary, you are the best. You are the Shrestha. Namaste Dharani Dhara. You are the upholder of the entire earth because you are Shesha, you are Ananta. And because of that, you hold the entire cosmic manifestation and the earth also on the hoods of Ananta. Pralambare Namastestu. While you have been doing all these positive activities, you are the greatest enemy to Pralambasura. You gave him one chop on the collarbone and you sent him packing towards death. Trahimam Krishna Purvaja. Please protect me, O older brother of Krishna. Krishna Purvaja. You are the elder brother of Krishna. So these wonderful verses written by Vyasdev in Brahma Puran in chapter number 57, verses 22 and 23. This is like a perfect Mangalacharan to Lord Balram. Many people in Mathura and Vrindavan, they feel that Lord Balram appeared 1 year after Krishna's birth. However, Gaudiya Vaishnavas like Rupa Goswami, Jiva Goswami, and even in these verses and in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is clearly mentioned that this is not the truth. Balaram appeared before Krishna's appearance. Why? We just heard the previous lecture of Srimad Bhagavatam where his main attitude is to serve the Lord, the greatest servitor of the Lord. So Lord Balram is known as Krishna Purvaja. So he was born, he appeared before Krishna's appearance. And this is also confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. So whenever we have conflicts or people having different opinions, we should refer to Srimad Bhagavatam. In the 10th canto, 1st chapter, 24th verse, it is mentioned, Vasudeva Kalananta Sahasra Vadanaswarat Agrato Bhavita Devo Hare Priya Chikrishaya. The foremost manifestation of Krishna is Sankarshana. So one other name of Lord Balram is called as Sankarshana, who is also known as Ananta. He is the origin of all incarnations within this material world. And it is said, Agrato Bhavito Devo. Agrato means previously. So this word clearly mentions previous to the appearance of Lord Krishna. Agrato Bhavito Bhavita Devo Hare Priya Chikirshaya. This original Sankarshan will appear as Baladev just to please Supreme Lord Sri Krishna in his transcendental pastimes. So Lord Baladev, very clearly it is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam as well, he appears before so that there is no conflict. So Lord Balram, he appears and hence it is very auspicious. Lord Balram appears in the womb of Mother Rohini. At the same time, there is a plenary portion of his appearance in the womb of Devaki as well. That is why in the 8th shloka of the 1st chapter of the 10th canto, Shukadeva Goswami is going to narrate, but Parikshit Maharaj asks many questions. One of the questions he asks in this shloka is Rohinyastanaya prokto Rama Sankarshanastvaya Devakya Garbha Sambandho Kuto Dehantaram Vina. How is that? How is that possible, Sukdev Goswami? Rohinyastanaya prokto. How is that he is the son of Rohini? Rama Sankarshanastvaya. His name is Rama Sankarshana. Devakya Garbha Sambandho. Wasn't he in the womb of Mother Devaki? How it happened that he became Rohini Nandan? And he's not known as Devaki Nandan. So this is being explained. So one of the acharyas, I think Baldev Vidyabhushan, gives a very nice analogy that Rohini Mata used to visit Vasudev and Devaki sometimes during the Karagraha, during the time they were in prison. Of course, she always used to stay in Vrindavan along with Nand Maharaj and Yashoda Maya. She used to be staying very close, but she was one of the principal wives of Vasudev. And it so happened that due to Yoga Maya, she always, the Yoga Maya potency was in such a way that she visited Vasudev and Devaki at the jail. And at the same time, she was also pregnant with Vasudev's child. And that was Lord Balram in the womb of Rohini. And Devaki also had a plenary portion of Balaram. So Baldev Vidyabhushan says, just like a magnet sometimes attracts a particle of iron, similarly, after 1 month or so, or after 4 months or so, he attracted that plenary portion from Devaki's womb into the womb of Rohini. So that's why Kuto Dehantaram Vina. How is that this Deha Antar happened? This movement of from one body to another happened. Of course, we heard yesterday very nicely Haripashar Prabhu mentioning about Harisuri's realizations, very wonderful realizations of how he interprets this entire movement from a yogi's path. This is very wonderful and very beautiful way of realizing Lord Sankarsana's movement from one womb to another. It's just like attracting his one portion from Devaki's womb into him. So because of this, also he was called as Sankarshan. And Garga Muni also named him as Sankarshan because he would unite the two families, the Kshatriya family and the Vaishya family, Nand Maharaj's family and also the Yadu family. And at the same time, he will be the cause of unison amongst the Yadavas. So because of all these reasons, he was named as Sankarshan. So this Sankarshan is known as Sankarshan only in Dwaraka, Mathura. In Vrindavan, he is Balaram. He is Rohini Nandan. In Vrindavan, Krishna is known as Krishna, Yashoda Nandan, Nanda Nandan. That is the primary names. The minute Krishna steps outside Vrindavan, he can be then called as Vasudeva Nandan. And similarly, Balaram can be called as Mula Sankarshan. But inside Vrindavan, they are none other than Rohini Nandan and Yashoda Nandan. So this we should understand very clearly that Balaram also never likes to go outside of Vrindavan. He always likes to be in Vrindavan. And he is very beautiful to look at. He wears bluish colored clothes and his appearance is very, very beautiful. He appears in such a way that he has no blemishes that you can find in Balaram. He always appears as like a 16-year-old. He's full of luster, his youth, and has a very fair complexion. Even in Krishna Balaram Mandir, we could go and see that Krishna Balaram, many people are attracted to Balaram in the Vrindavan temple because he's so beautiful to look at. Six-pack abs, having a bugle horn, just putting a hand over Krishna's shoulder, leaning slightly, the most beautiful smile that you can see, the most curly hairs in that in that white complexion of his is falling on his temple forehead. It's very beautiful. And he wears these blue garments. He wears the forest flowers. And he's so handsome. His hair is tied on a graceful top knot. He has splendid earrings. And his earrings adorn the ears of Balaram. His neck is full of garlands of flowers. He has strings of pearls and jewels. And he has bracelets, armlets. And he looks so beautiful that the ornaments look so beautiful when they are bedecked on Balaram's body. And how are his arms? His arms are splendidly strong. And his lotus feet is bedecked with many more jewels and anklets. And Krishna's dearest friend and brother is Balaram. And he's a great reservoir of nectar of mellows, and many kinds of transcendental pastimes are exhibited by Balaram. Such is the beauty of Balaram. When Balaram runs, his earrings start touching and kissing his cheeks. And when Balaram's forehead is marked with tilak, it is made of musk. And Balaram's broad chest is having a garland of gunja. You know, gunja are small red and black and white berries which are very native to Vrindavan. You can see them, the Gunja beads. Even if you go to the temple of Guruvayur, you will find some Gunja beads, some red and black. Some they are like the wild berries of Vrindavan. And his chest, having the white complexion, it has these black and red and beautiful white berries, which are very native to Vrindavan. See how much Balaram loves Vrindavan. He wears those native forest flowers of Vrindavan on his chest. And his complexion of white is just like the autumn cloud. And he wears beautiful blue garments. And his voice, when he starts to speak, these are the physical attraction, but when he starts to speak to the gopis, his voice is grave and his arms are very long, as if it is almost touching his knees, touching his thighs. So one look at Balaram, Koti Kandarpa Lavanya. One feeble look at Balaram's lotus face. It is impossible to compare Koti Kandarpa Lavanya. Many Koti, crores and crores of cupids fall ashamed in front of Balaram's beauty. And he is the Adi Guru. He is the first supreme person. And he is very, very instrumental in teaching us the Shastras. He is the one who expands himself in all the different paraphernalias. He is the couch of the Lord. He is the umbrella of the Lord. He is the shoes of the Lord. He is the bed of the Lord. He is the pillows of the Lord. He is the dham of the Lord. He is the Shastras of the Lord. He is the spiritual master teaching us about the Lord. So his constant interest is to serve the Lord very unconditionally. So Balaram always likes to sport and always likes to go along with his cowherd boys and friends. So it so happened that the cowherd pastimes used to happen in Vrindavan. And specifically, the cowherd pastimes used to happen in and around the place of Kamyavan. In fact, even in Vrindavan, if you go today, most people feel Kamyavan is the original Vrindavan because it has got so many pastime places. So Brajvasis, the old Brajvasis, if you ask them Vrindavan, they will point you to Kamyavan. So Kamyavan is having resplendent of so many wonderful places that Raghunath Das Goswami, in his Vraja Leela Stava, in text number 92, he mentions, let me worship the forest of Kamyavan, which is very dear to Sri Radha and Krishna. And it contains the Kama Sarovara, a beautiful lake where gopis enjoy transcendental pastimes. So look at the way every location our Goswamis are trying to pay their obeisances. So in this same Kamyavan, there are many cowherd boy pastimes, the Gopas pastimes with Krishna and Balaram that have happened. And we should take blessings from these places. And we should meditate that as these festivals roll on, Krishna Janmashtami, Radhashtami, Kartik is coming. Kartik is about to arrive. And it's time for us to take our material feet and walk on the spiritual dham and visit these holy places. And in these holy places, things might have changed, but one thing remains the same. That is the camphor dust of Vrindavan, which is still there, which has come from the lotus feet of Balaram. So we should go and take blessings. Srila Rupa Goswami begs for blessings in Padyavali. In text number 5, he mentions, may Gopal's flute, playful Gopal's flute music, which calls even faraway Surabhi cows by name, which is the mystic mantra that charms the gopis' hearts, which delights and attracts the deers who are enjoying it completely. And all of this which is happening in Vrindavan, let it bless you. Look at the way Rupa Goswami is mentioning about how the Venu Gan is actually being relished by all of them. So we should take blessings of all these places. We should take blessings. So what do cowherd boys do? What do cowherd boys do? So many of you are on the call. What is the activities of the cowherd boys once they go to Vrindavan? What do they do? Anybody can unmute and say, what do they do?
Grazing cows.
Okay, they race with calves, one activity. Anybody else?
They
Stealing
play
the butter. Stealing the butter.
They steal the butter. How come they cannot steal the butter? They play with Krishna.
They play with Krishna.
What else? They only play with Krishna?
well, they play with each other too.
They play with each other. So that means they play games, right? Anybody would like to be a part of this group? Seems like no serious work is done. They play games. They eat prasad, lots and lots of it. They steal prasad, butter. They herd cows. That's the reason, that's the excuse that they make to go to these places. Of course, they watch demons getting squashed and bashed and killed by Krishna and Balaram. That's their favorite sport. They play in waterfalls. 10th canto Bhagavatam says, how do they act? Srimad Bhagavatam 10.12.7 to 10.12.11 mentions very beautifully. They play in waterfalls. They imitate the animals. Sometimes when the bird is flying, they keep flying like a bird or the dog. Sometimes they stand next to the frog, and as it's about to jump, they keep jumping. They walk crisscross, just like how the deers walk. So they imitate the animals. They play on their flute bugles. They shout names into the wells. Yes, Dhanashri Mataji, you got your hand up. What do they do?
Prabhuji, I always feel they somehow, doing all this, they also steer everybody towards Krishna.
Correct. So they push people to go towards Krishna. Very correct. And they center around Krishna. They shout names. When they find wells, empty wells, they'll just put their heads into the well and they'll shout their name, Sridham, Balaram. And then they'll feel the echo and they'll start laughing. And they will climb trees. They'll climb branches. They will wrestle with each other. And also they will play ball with flower balls.
They share their lunch also.
Sorry, Mataji?
They share their lunch also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They share their lunch. So like this, they play all the time. And that's where I was coming to. And they get tired. And when they get completely tired, and they want to have food. So this is the time in Kamya 1, it so happened they were going with one time. I'll tell 2-3 pastimes of these cowherd boys, and they're playing and Balaram together. So it so happened that one time Pralambasur, he took the form of a gopa and he came there, and they were playing a game where they had to carry each other on their shoulders. So there were two groups, one of Balaram, one of Krishna. And Pralambasur said, can I join too? And everybody was looking at Pralambasur. This kid doesn't seem like to be a part of this village. We have never seen him. He has very different features. And he was just like a humble cow saying that, can I be a part of your group? And Krishna immediately knew that who he was. But here he was, he wanted to play along with the devotees. And Krishna never says no. So Krishna says, okay, fine. He wants to do some service. He wants me to carry me on his back, and he has got bad intentions, but then he wants to do some service. Let me give the service to this jiva. So he said, okay, you can be a part of my team. You look like very strong and you can carry people, so you can be part of my team. And at that point of time, when Krishna knew that he was actually a demon, Krishna wanted to kill him, but Krishna did not. And very wonderfully, it has been said that because Krishna accepted him as part of his group, Swapaksha, so he did not want to kill. But the other reason is, he's also, Pralambasur is also existing there as an embodiment of two things that a devotee should never have. And what is that? He has a cheating mentality. So Pralambasur, he took Balaram on his shoulders and he started running, but he had duplicity, kapata. This is not accepted by a guru. A disciple should never have duplicit behavior in front of the spiritual master. And Balaram is the spiritual master of the whole universe, and he was seeing that he's having this duplicit mentality. So sometimes when we have this duplicit mentality in our heart, the spiritual master might point it out in front of everyone publicly, and we should tolerate and accept it. So Balaram and Krishna wanted to showcase that Guru has this responsibility to remove duplicity. So he told Balaram, why don't you remove this duplicit behavior of Pralambasur? And Balaram gave one big blow to the collarbone of Pralambasur, and he killed him. So this is a great learning, one of the greatest learning that we have. And this learning, they used to go to different forests, not only Kamyavan. But in Kamyavan, one day while they were playing like this, they got very hungry. And they got very hungry and they wanted to sit and eat. So they all sat down and there was a Bhojan Sthali. There was a place where they were eating. But just before that, a pastime also had happened. And what was that pastime? It was the pastime of Vyomasura. Vyomasura, he started kidnapping one by one all the different boys, the gopas, and started putting them in a cave and closed it with a rock. And when Krishna found out that his friends were in difficulty and they have been kidnapped, Krishna killed Vyomasura. And because he abducted the children and put them in a cave, even today in Kamyavan, near the Fishali Ganj, we have this place called Vyomasur Gufa. You can see this cave. And they were playing there. And because they were kidnapped, all of them lost their lunch boxes. They lost, somebody's lunch boxes were lost, somebody's tiffin was lost, somebody's tiffin got mashed up. So they did not know, they were very hungry now. They were locked up inside the cave. Now they were very hungry, so they all sat down in Bhojan Sthali. And at that time, Krishna was feeling very sad. Do you know why Krishna was feeling sad? Krishna was feeling sad because he knew tomorrow Akrura will come and they have to leave Vrindavan. And this would be one of the most toughest times even for Krishna. So here everybody was lifting the plates of Bhojan Sthali, mixing all the things that they had. They were sharing with Krishna. They were making Krishna eat. But Krishna was not even able to lift his flute out of the sadness that he was going away from Vrindavan. What to speak about playing the flute? He could not even lift his flute because he was feeling so sad. I'm going to leave Vrindavan. I'm going to leave. They don't know that this is one of the last lunches that we are going to have. After this, I might go to Mathura. I might go to Dwarka. I might not come back. Krishna was feeling very sad, but he was not putting up that show for the Gopas. He was showing all happiness. But Balaram understood this. He is non-different from Krishna. Only in appearance he is different. He is the Avesha, he is the Vilas form of Krishna. So in appearance he is different and he enhances the pastimes. So it is said by the Acharyas that Balaram understood the heart of Krishna and he just kept his hand on the shoulder of Krishna. As if a gentle hand. I understand, my dear brother. I understand. It's difficult. I know what you're going through. Such caring elder brother. He just kept his hand on Krishna's shoulder. And that is the Archa Vigraha which we see in Raman Reti as well. So whenever we see Lord Balaram just standing, leaning on Krishna's shoulder. You should imagine this pastime of Kamyavan. Though it is in Raman Reti, in Krishna Balaram Mandir, but this pastime is also very similar. He's just standing. I understand. I can understand that you're going to leave. Because Krishna knew Akrura would come and they have to leave. But we are not going to end our lecture in sadness, because today is a festival occasion. Today is an occasion of happiness. Today is an occasion where Balaram has appeared. So Balaram always takes care of Krishna. Sometimes Balaram, when he is sleeping, he will speak. One time, Balaram, when he was sleeping and he was mumbling in his sleep, what was he saying? He was saying, Are Krishna, everything is happening because of your potency. Why don't you finish this Kaliya quickly and let's go back home? And everybody started laughing. Because why? Because Balaram was left back home on the day of Kaliya getting punished. And then he had to witness this, hear all of this. And he was feeling, Are Krishna is making such a great show out of it. Why don't you just finish it quickly? So many people are getting aggrieved. Nand Baba is almost fainting. Yashoda Maya is almost fainting. So Balaram mumbled one day in the sleep like this. And everybody started to chuckle. All the Gopas started to chuckle. So this is how Balaram is. He takes care of Krishna very, very nicely. And he is there to serve Krishna always. One other pastime is when he comes in Rama's Leela, in Lord Ramchandra's Leela, he took the appearance as Lakshman. And when he took appearance as Lakshman, he always ensured that he's serving Lord Ramchandra. One of the pastimes that happens is that when the rainy season is on, Sugriva says, we cannot search for Mother Sita at this time. So we have to wait. So everybody waits. Four seasons, 4 months are complete. Not 4 seasons, 4 months are complete. But Sugriva does not resume his search. In fact, he is constantly engaging in materialistic revelry, in sensual pleasure with Tara, that he forgets that he promised Lord Ramchandra that he will assist in search. So Balaram, who was Lakshman, he comes angrily and stands with his bow in his hand and calls out Sugriv. Sugriv is completely drunk. He's enjoying in sensual revelry with Tara. Tara is also completely drunk and semi-naked. It is at that time that Lakshman is standing ferociously as if he will bring the whole world down, and he's angry when Ananta, when Shesha is angry, all his hoods is hissing and he's angry. And Sugriva is right there, not even in his senses. And Valmiki is writing, Hanuman is jerking him, waking him up, saying, if you don't wake up now, you will sleep forever. Because those arrows of Saumitra Nandan is going to pierce your heart, Sugriva. Have you forgotten? I told you. Hanuman is knocking wisdom into his brain. But at that time, Tara still, she is half drunk, half awake. She's thinking how to solve this matter, how to solve this difficulty which has come there. Because Balaram, as Lakshman, he's fully, completely thinking of only one thing: how can I serve Lord Ramchandra? So at that time, my dear devotees, a very beautiful verse is written by Valmiki. And Valmiki writes that verse, and I will like to showcase that verse out here. And it's a very beautiful verse. And when we see it in the beginning, we'll feel it's a very normal verse. So this is in the Kishkinda Khanda, in the Sarga that we have 33, out of that the 38th verse. So I'll read first normally. It says, Sapraskhalanti Madavishwalakshi Pralambakanchi Gunahema Sutra Sa Lakshmana Lakshmana Sannidhanam Jagam Tara Namita Angayashtihi. So this is the shloka of Valmiki Ramayana. But Valmiki also wants to add a flavor of how angry Lakshmana is. At the same time, how casual is the attitude of Tara, and how drunk is she, and how is she walking. All of this he wants to mention while she is walking towards Lakshman, to counter his anger, to subdue his resolve of burning Kishkinda down completely and jolting Sugriva and punishing Sugriva because he forgot his promise. So Valmiki doesn't want the readers to read his shloka this way. So he says, Sapras kalanti madavishvalakshi. Look at the way he wants us to read. This clearly shows that Tara is drunk. Sapras kalanti madavihvalakshi pralambakanchi gunahema sutra. Sapras kalanti, the exquisitely featured Tara. Mother Vishwalashi, that means she had her eyes which was tipsy of the liquor that she was drinking, the sensual pleasures that she was having. She went to Pralambakanchi, that she was shivering, but she was having a waddling gait. She was not walking straight. She was going left, she was going right, she was holding to things. Pralambakanchi Guna Hema Sutra. What she was wearing, it had got golden trinklets and cincture which was dangling. She was semi-naked. But whom is she approaching? Salakshmana Lakshmana Sannidhanam. Sannidhanam. That means Lakshmana, one who is like an epitome of, like a temple-like figure, such pure figure. She was approaching Lakshmana, who is Lakshmana Sannidhanam. Jagam Tara Namitayanga Yeshti. She went there in a waddling gait. She held her hands and she humbly bent down. And Lakshmana did not know where to see. All his anger immediately went down. Acharya is right that irrespective of the doshas, irrespective of the anarthas, completely meddled in the material pleasure, we jivas, we do not know how to approach the Lord. But when we supplicate our hands just like Tara, and we humbly bent, we stand before the spiritual master and say, still he is merciful to accept us. And he heard completely, and he was only looking at the feet of Tara. He was not even looking up. And he was resolved to serve the purpose of Lord Ramchandra. Such is the resolve. Why would such a personality get attracted by the beauty of Tara? Because he himself is Koti Kandarpa Lavanya. His attraction, his bodily features beats crores and crores and crores of cupids, and his radiant lustre is beautiful. That Balaram, he himself drinks the beautiful nectarian Varuni which is offered to him today. And he sometimes drinks that Varuni, enjoys the beverage of Varuni. And in that moment, he finds that the whole earth is tilting. The Chandrama, the moon, the Purnima moon is shaking, appearing near or far away. And his words begin to stutter. And everybody looking at such a Balaram start to smile and enjoy the beauty of Balaram. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the Sat potency. And he holds a plow in his hand. Why does he hold a plow in his hand? So that he can dig that plow deep in the hearts of the jivas and put the seed of devotional service So we are in sadhana bhakti. So in sadhana bhakti, we have to put efforts, and that effort is put by the plow which digs deep into the heart. And in that, the farming of bhakti is done. And then the nectarian names of Radha and Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Those nectarian waters are poured into the creeper of bhakti. And then we do the akarshana, the beautiful flute of Krishna's music. So the plow digs the heart and removes the anarthas, the weeds which are growing in the heart. So Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj, he mentions that we should pray to Balaram to weed out all the anarthas and take his lotus feet, which is so soft, but when it kicks the asuras, it is like a thunderbolt. We should pray to Balaram on this day that please use your plow and dig it super hard on our heart, or in fact, even give a great kick to our heart. So one of the devotee asked Gaur Govind Maharaj, is it okay if we ask for a kick of Nitai? Is it okay if we get a kick from Balaram? Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj, he laughed and he said, in fact, it's very nice. Enjoy it. Welcome it. So we should pray on this day that Lord Balaram gives a nice kick to our heart and removes all the anarthas and makes us eligible to further nurture the seed which has been given by him as the representative of spiritual master, and further gets attracted towards Krishna, and finally chant the names of Radha and Krishna and further nurture them to get Ananda, pure prema, pure love of Godhead. It is not possible without the mercy of Lord Balaram. So we ask, we beg mercy from Srimati Radharani, and we ask spiritual strength from Lord Balaram on this day. So today, when I opened today the newspaper, which was on my desk at work, it's had a very big article on the top which said, today, the place where I stay, which is Dubai, you will be able to see the blue supermoon. And I was just wondering, this is not just astronomically correct. This is so apt for Lord Balaram. Today is Purnima, a supermoon of a supremely effulgent Lord who loves to wear blue color. So today is the blue supermoon and the appearance of Balaram. So once again, I thank all the devotees for their patient listening. I could scramble some of the topics of Lord Balaram. I hope I could do justice to the topic. It was a childish prank to attempt to glorify Lord Balaram. It's very difficult, especially when all the other devotees have mentioned so wonderful pastimes of Lord Balaram. But I thank once again Preeti Vilasini Mataji for giving me an opportunity on this most auspicious day to help me render service unto all the devotees. Thank you very much for your patient listening. Yadastras kalitam kinchit vidhvam sat purayantu tat yadastat saushtubam kinchit tad guroreva me nahi. So if any part of this lecture which you liked, all the glories of those parts go to my spiritual master and all the assembled Gurujanas, senior devotees, previous lecturers, disciples of all the Prabhupada Shishyas, everybody. None of that belongs to me. But if you found any mistakes, all of you are learned scholars. Please correct them and please enable me also to progress in devotional service by your constant blessings and prayers. Thank you very, very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Balaram Purnima Maha Mahotsav ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. If there are any questions, comments, critiques, feedbacks, more than happy to address them. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga. Such a beautiful, beautiful session. As usual, always, Prabhuji, I like your session all the time to hear. And you took everyone, us, at a Vrindavan trip like that by saying the pastime of Srimati Radharani, how she was so grieved that she couldn't come. She was waiting for her brother. So it was so nice. And it's vision like that, and how the rainy season start. You describe about that. I never heard before this thing, but it's very, very really nectar for me to hear these all things. And you just talk about all the pastimes of Sri Balram, Lord Sri Balram, and Lord Shri Krishna. How, and I like the thing more, whatever you describe the Lord Balram's form, how he looks like. So it's like I meditate on that one, and you again remind me at Vrindavan, the Krishna Balaram temple, how the Balramji look, his appearance all the time. I see his form like that. So it's very, very wonderful. And I also like that devotee should never do duplicity behavior in the front of his spiritual master, his or her. So it's very like it. I like that. So Prabhuji, really,
Thank you,
really, I
Mataji.
always like to hear. And always you just bring the connection, the Ramayana, always. And I like to hear that Ramayana part also all the time.
Jai.
So,
Jai Srila Prabhupada. All glories to spiritual masters. Thank you. Thank you, Mataji, for your kind words.
and Prabhuji, you have any time, more time?
I have more than happy, Mataji,
Yeah.
to give time to
So,
devotees.
dear devotees, you have any question or realization? Can you?
I see a couple of hands up. So maybe. Yes, Karpagalli Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for the enlightenment. It's very nice. Just like which Mataji told, you have to taken us to Vrindavan. So I just want you to enlighten us again with the Julan Yatra. Radharani is going or coming back? Just
So
she's
she
going
came back. She came back to Vrindavan, and it's when the rainy season happens. So the third day of the Shravan month is when everything becomes green. That's why in the northern part of India, they celebrate Hariyali Tej, because everything is green in color. And they nicely make the Jhulan, and that Jhulan is very special. So we should have a separate class
Julan is
about
what,
Jhulan.
what, Prabhuji?
Jhulan is Unjal. In your Tamil,
Oh.
they call it as Unjal.
Okay.
Unjal means it's the swing pastime. Unjal Adu, correct. So it's called as the swing, and they decorate the swing, and they put the divine couple on the swing. And the swing doesn't have one seat. The swing has 16 seats, which will expand and contract for 8 Sakhis, 8 Manjaris, and Radha and Krishna.
Oh.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mata. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Yes, Dhanashri Mataji.
I'm so touched with your lecture. You're always spot on with
Krishna.
the way you describe things. What really touched my heart was how Balram he's the epitome of humility. You know, normally if a person is asked to bend down and touch somebody's feet whom the person doesn't know, your ego curtains your thoughts, right? But here he's turning himself into all those accessories that the Lord uses.
Yeah.
And that I think is total surrender, especially the flute, when the flute is actually hollow. In fact, I met somebody who makes flutes some time ago, and they said the Panchami, Saptami, Ashtami, and Navami, they do not make flutes. They do not produce flutes. Because me in Marathi means I, and I should not be there in the flute. which was a very beautiful explanation for making a flute. And I really feel Balram is like just total surrender. I love the
Right.
lecture. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Master. Thank you,
so
Mataji.
much.
Balram is always in the mood of serving Krishna in
Yeah.
various different forms. Shesha.
In fact, even his weapon, he has used a tool which is used by a layman.
Hmm.
You know, to dig into somebody's heart. It's like a
Correct.
farmer digging into the earth to get the best of Mother Earth. The same way he's using the tools that he's using are also so down to earth, kind of.
Yeah, down to earth
That's
and
what
touching earth.
touching the earth. Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you,
Thank
Mataji.
you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yes, Preeti Vilasni Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Just
Hare
wanted to
Krishna.
thank you for such a beautiful, beautiful class.
Thank you,
Definitely
Mataji.
not a childish prank. It was like a cherry on the cake. Our final session on
Right.
Lord Balaram was the most beautiful. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji, for giving me an opportunity. And that is your magnanimity that you're saying is a cherry on the cake. I'm sure that the cherry was very sour, but the sweetness is, if it is there, it is of Lord Balram's pastimes. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare-
Gail Mataji or Prabhu, I don't know.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
It's, yeah, I mean, I could listen to the recording, but I just wasn't following properly when you were explaining why it is that Balaram, in the form of Lakshman, had, brought his anger down when Tara was waggling toward him in her drunken state. And how is it that that verse brought that anger down? I don't know. Somehow I missed something.
Yes, so that's a good question, Mataji. I didn't address that while I was speaking. So Lakshmana was very angry about the fact that they were not serving Lord Ram and they were not keeping up their promises. Tara knew at that time that she was not in the correct state and she could not present herself properly in the proper etiquette to somebody who is at the doorstep. But she was politically very astute. She knew that more than her presentation skills, the real trouble at the door was about the kingdom itself, which can go down. So she said, nevertheless, she presented herself like that. And the Acharyas comment that she could present herself like that because she always saw Lakshman like her son. More than that, there is a mention there, Lakshmana Sannidhanam. It means that Lakshmana always looked at other women as mothers. So he looked down immediately about, that was the etiquette that he followed, and he considered her as a mother. And he did not want to really talk to a lady at that time. He wanted to speak to Sugriv directly. So that time was being bought so that Sugriv can actually get back to his senses, wear his crown, wear his proper attire, and so that the protocol can be followed. So it was like a decoy buying time. And she was saying, why don't you sit down? Why don't you enjoy the pleasures? And he was like uptight and very strong and saying, no, I'm not interested in that. But the anger that he wanted to exhibit kind of got toned down because Tara came in between. But he still gave strong words to Sugriv after that. So that really helped. So it was a pastime where Tara used her intelligence to tone down the situation. Does that help, Mataji?
Yes, it does, Prabhu. And when you said that she understood I guess the gravity of the situation, that
Correct.
the whole kingdom was in danger of being
Correct.
destroyed by Lakshman's anger, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
so even though she was not in a fit condition to approach Lakshman, she did it only for that purpose. Is it? Did I get it?
Correct.
Okay.
So absolutely right. So she knew that if she took care of her personal appearance and that quotient, if she paid more attention to that,
Time
her whole
lost.
kingdom Her whole kingdom will not be there in front of his frat. So she said, let me put the caution to the wind on my presentation skills, but let me address the real danger at the doorstep.
And Lakshman understanding her mood,
Yeah.
that's what brought his anger down.
His anger down, and also as a spiritual master, he's Adi Guru, he's the Shesha, he's Ananta. So he also knows sometimes jivas, they engage in materialistic pleasures, but when they come and bend down and offer a menial service or pay obeisances, then the spiritual master is very, very merciful. So he's exhibiting that part as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Vinitya Gandhavika Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, very, very beautiful class, Prabhu. Thank you so much for such a sweet nectarian class. And the pastimes we could see in front of our eyes, all the pastimes that you're describing. It is so blissful. Prabhu, I have one question. You were talking about how we should not have a duplicit mind when we approach a spiritual master. I don't know how to explain my situation. It's not that I don't know, always the thoughts runs in my mind. I wanted to serve Guru Krishna very nicely, but then all the thoughts are there inside the brain. So many thoughts running. So what is that? I mean, is that how do we control, and how I can be escaped from this duplicit mind?
Okay. So one of the things we suggest is that the strengthening of the mind happens only by hearing. So we submit our 2 ears to rapt attention to spiritual master's words. So sometimes what happens when disciples, after a long time, when they see the spiritual master, so many emotions flood their heart, so many desires of serving Krishna and Guru flood their heart, and it flummoxes them. It doesn't allow them to choose the best way to serve the spiritual master. So there are a lot of thoughts. So what happens is that what best way to come out of it is, if the spiritual master is giving a lecture, we just sit down and listen to the lecture very, very carefully on that day. We might have heard millions of lectures before meeting Guru Maharaj, but on that day, spiritual master is giving a lecture. We completely give our rapt attention to that lecture, to that instruction, what he is speaking to other devotees, what is the mood he is carrying at that time. So when we connect ourselves deeply, that means we are utilizing our mind, our intelligence to understand the mood that spiritual master is carrying at that point of time. And with that understanding, whether he's in an instructive mode, whether he's in a advising, whether he's in a very pleasurable mode, the disciple has to increase that particular rasa. So if he's in an instructive mode, trying to ask people for more services, then the disciple should be approaching the spiritual master to increase his pleasure, be ready to create bandwidth in their life to accept more services. If he is in a happy mood talking about Krishna, we should talk about how the spiritual master in his previous lectures have spoken so nicely about Krishna and how that is very relishing. There's no me and I in front of the spiritual master. This is non-duplicit behavior. This is to always not put us above the spiritual master, but always expecting to add to the mood of the spiritual master so that he can bless us indefinitely. Does that answer the question, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much. Very grateful to you. Sorry, Gaurangi Mataji, I thought it was raised for previous, I lowered it. Okay, you can go for the next question.
I guess, yeah, I realized what you thought. It's okay. Yeah, I just want to quickly confirm that the 2 qualities that we should never carry, I think you said in front of the spiritual master, is one you mentioned that was the duplicity, I think. And the other, I guess, is envy, no?
Envy and also having cheating propensity.
Oh, Well,
Duplicit and cheating propensity, because Pralambasur was cheating. He was being a part of the member group as if to play, but he has duplicit different intentions and he was cheating in the game.
Because cheating, maybe they overlap those two qualities, but they
almost somewhat similar. Yes, correct. They overlap. Almost envy, definitely envious against God brothers, God sisters, envious against Guru. These things are not very helpful.
And can you just remind me how exactly did he cheat? I mean, the duplicity we know, but how did he cheat again?
He was going different ways than the track which was supposed to be run at. He was carrying Balaram for longer time. And so those were the activities that he was doing. I mean, he was breaking the rules of the game.
Okay. Okay, Prabhu, thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, anybody else? No.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. First of all, happy Balram Purnima today to you. At India is today. And I would like to say today, I also pray to Lord Sri Balram that I am praying and I am begging to you that all my anarthas, just you take it out by your plow, because I have so many anarthas, right? I am conditioned soul. So, and Prabhuji, I want to say, so many times I always have a negative thinking about, just like if I want to go out for a walk, I always think, I fear like that, the people, if someone come and to me, so always I think, even though I heard and I also know that in everyone's heart, the Lord is situated, but still there is one kind of fear like that. So, and all the time negative thinking comes to me. So, Prabhuji, can you explain about that, what I should do?
Fear is when we have strong attachment. Fear comes when we have expectations of how things have to become. For example, if I buy a mobile phone, my expectation is that it works as a proper mobile phone and it lasts for 2-3 years. But immediately this case is put on top of the mobile phone because there is a fear that it will fall at any time and it will break my desire that it will long last for 2-3 years. So fear is coming out of attachments. So when we understand that we don't have to be fearful, we surrender our attachment towards Krishna. So what you're doing is right, Mataji. And as I said, we should just pray to Krishna, please kick me. Kick our heart. Nitai, please kick our heart, like Gorgong Maharaj said. Give a nice kick. Kick the fear away and keep your feet on me. So that is what we should pray. And and when we hear more, then this fear reduces. When we hear more how Krishna protects his devotees, the fear reduces. When we hear more about how Krishna is so merciful, the fear reduces. The fear is coming because we are attaching more towards the comforts of the material life. And that's why the fear comes. Or we have reliance more on the material life, our comfort factors, money, surroundings, people, society, positions, name, qualifications, communication skills. When we put more reliance on these things, then the fear will be there. But when we rely only on Krishna, then fear, it's joyful. We are not God-fearing. We are God-loving people.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. So much encouragement from your answer and everything. I'm so grateful to you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. All glories to Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhuji. It was very wonderful session, very nice explanation and of all the pastimes and very nice description of Vrindavan and the various things. So Prabhuji, I had this question, like you mentioned, how Balramji has been like as a Sankarshan, he has been moved into the womb of Rohini Mata. So, like maybe I'm a fallen soul. My mindset is different. So Vasudev is in prison, right, Prabhuji, and Rohini Mata is in Vrindavan. So, like it's been long time. So how she can get pregnant? All this, anyone like somebody can come and ask me, and so how should
Yes,
I
yes.
answer that, Prabhuji?
So they used to come. They used to come and meet, sometimes even in the prison. So this
Okay.
is mentioned by our acharyas. And I heard in one of the um, lectures, once I was visiting Gaudiya Math, one of the sannyasis there, he was also mentioning this, that Rohini Mata, sometimes she used to visit from Vrindavan. She used to visit Mathura while they were in the prison. And so it can be understood that Kamsa was keeping them in the prison, but he was allowing visitors. So they used to visit. But after she got pregnant, then that means that certain things which are not mentioned is very obvious that they might have had intercourse. She would have turned pregnant. But this is not very clear. It is not many mentioned in the Shastras.
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. So, like, but this, like, we can think like the yesterday Hari Parshad Prabhuji said that it's like Balramji only wanted to like move from
Yeah,
the womb of
yeah,
Devaki to Rohini Mata. So,
correct.
there is no action of Maya. It's only he
No,
himself. He has moved from this womb to the other womb of
correct,
the mother.
correct. Which is
Okay.
what I said, just like the magnet and the iron. When the
Okay.
magnet is kept, the iron is pulled towards it. So Devaki also has a plenary portion, and Sankarshan, he is in the womb of Rohini Mata, and he just pulled his own expansion towards Rohini Mata's womb. So Rohini Stanaya Prokto Rama Sankarshana Stoya. Devakya Garbha Sambandho Kuto Dehantaram Vina. How it happened. That Devakya Garbha Sambandho, it was in Devaki's womb, how it went. Can you tell me? And Shukdev Goswami explains in the 42nd verse of the first chapter of 10th canto.
Okay. So here, Balramji is plenary portion of Lord Krishna, right, Prabhuji?
Yeah, and even his Amsha is there in Devaki's womb also, and at the same time
Okay.
is in Rohini's womb also.
Okay.
So there are two portions,
Okay.
like two droplets. One big droplet in Rohini's womb, and there is a small droplet also. So,
Okay.
so he just pulled in.
Okay, Prabhuji. Yeah, now I got the clarity. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thanks a lot. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Gail Mataji, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I'm sorry. One more time.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, when I didn't understand what that conflict was that you were referring to when you said that Balaram appears first so as to avoid such conflict. What was that conflict?
No, the conflict. It was not a conflict. Some of the Mathura Vasis and Brajvasis, they believe Balram appeared after Krishna's appearance. They believe that he did not appear before; he appeared afterwards. So people in Mathura, they do not celebrate Balram Purnima sometimes today, because they believe he appeared, either 1 year before or later after Krishna's appearance. So this is not in line with the Gaudiya Parampara and the Acharyas, Jiv Goswami and others. And Srimad Bhagavatam, which I read, clearly mentions Agrato, and it also mentions Krishna Purvaja. So that means that he appeared before Krishna's appearance.
So you said that there are certain residents of Mathura
residents of Mathura, yes.
And some of them, they do believe that he appeared 1 year before.
Correct.
Also.
There are different thoughts like this in Vrindavan. Many sects of people, they have this thought.
But in actuality, it was just days before, no?
Or 8 days before, right?
8 days
like
before.
This, like 8 days before, on the Purnima day.
And we don't know, maybe we don't even care how come they have these different ideas.
We do not know, Mataji.
Mm-hmm.
But in our Shastras, it is very clearly mentioned.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
this thought is incorrect.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you again.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay, if there are no more questions, wish you all a very happy Balaram Purnima. And again, thank you very much for your rapt listening and all the blessings. Please do
Thank
pray
you.
for me as well. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. All
Thank you.
glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you, Prabhuji, and your all the things, whatever you describe very in detail. So very, very enlightening and nectar and sweet class and sweet glory of Sri Balram, Lord Sri Balram. Today we hear and we are very, very grateful to you. We look forward to your association again in future more and more. So if nobody have any question and if your permission, we can end
Hare
the
Krishna.
call.
We can end.
Vancha
Yes, Mataji.
kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha
Hare
patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Shri Lord Shri Balram Purnima ki jai.
Jai.
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
His
Jai.
Grace Hari Varya Das Prabhuji ki jai.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hari
Jai
Bol
Haridas Varya
Ananta Koti
Prabhuji ki
Vaishnava
jai.
ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you all, dear
Thank you,
devotees.
Prabhuji.